Hello once again to all of you awesome people who I'm pretending live in my camera, so I don't feel alone in my new creepy studio with Wizard Buddha Head and Zen Pig. Before we begin, I need to make it absolutely clear that I do not promote the use of either LSD or DMT. According to YouTube's own community guidelines shown here, videos which intend to educate but do not glorify substance use are generally suitable for advertising. The following video does not glorify the use of drugs, is also not graphic since it does not show the consumption of any illegal substances. The following video is strictly educational. Part Ni of DMT vs LSD will be covering everything that I missed in Part Each and more. This includes which one do I personally find to be the most terrifying, and which was responsible for most of my own psychedelic trauma. Can a high dose of acid feel like a DMT breakthrough? And what exactly does an LSD or DMT breakthrough feel like? And finally, what is it like to combine DMT with LSD, and is that even safe? This episode actually does answer all of these questions, unlike in part 1 of this video where I flat out lied to you and basically answered none of them. Hopefully I haven't fully decimated your trust, and at this point, we can now start to rebuild. Before we continue, I must make it clear that absolutely everything discussed in this video is my own personal opinion, which is drawn from my own subjective experiences. This means that not everyone who's tried these substances will have the same experiences that I've had, or necessarily agree with everything that I'm saying. This is because each drug affects each person in a slightly different way, primarily because we all have slightly different brain chemistry. Both have the potential to be terrifying. However, since LSD lasts on average 8 to 12 hours and DMT on average lasts 3 to 10 minutes, it is no wonder why LSD is the winner as the most potentially frightening. Now, it's true that no one has ever died from consuming LSD, and assuming you test your LSD and you know that you're actually taking real stuff and not some N-bomb, as long as you don't have a weak heart, it is very unlikely that the LSD itself is going to be physically dangerous. What is physically dangerous is when an individual enters what is called psychedelic-induced psychosis. While experiencing something like LSD psychosis, an individual is more likely to hurt both themselves and others. DMT, on the other hand, is less likely to cause psychosis simply because of its short-acting effects. However, I do have friends who have experienced psychotic episodes while on DMT. I'm not saying it's impossible, I'm simply saying it's less likely, and if it does happen, it's going to wear off a lot quicker, usually. As for which one has personally caused me the most trauma in my past, I'm gonna have to give it up to my girl Lucy. I once had an LSD trip that required my 2 friends to hold me down and one of them to keep me in a chokehold so they could stop me from either running outside and hurting myself by, running into traffic or getting arrested or worse. Now, regardless of which substance you are consuming, it is of the utmost importance that you test your drugs to ensure that they are safe to consume, meaning to ensure that they are what you think they are. And on top of this, you also must always ensure that you have something called trip killers, benzodiazepines, in case someone does experience a bad trip. You can also use antipsychotic medication for this too. As someone who has personally experienced psychedelic psychosis themselves, I can tell you that it can happen without warning. It can even happen to an experienced, seasoned tripper. So no matter what you deem your level of psychedelic, exploration to be, even if you're like level 99 and about to learn Klim Hazard, or wait, what would that be? Omnislash, make sure that you always follow these safety precautions, because it doesn't matter how experienced you are, the wrong drug can still kill you, and you can still experience psychosis. Let's get into the actual video now that I have all the safety information out of the way. It's no doubt that DMT, especially when smoked, is capable of delivering one of the, if not the, most intense experience that a human being can undergo. The thing is, though, because in the real world a breakthrough only lasts 3 to 10 minutes, well, is this really enough time to cause true life-changing effects? Is it enough time to bring anything positive back from that hyperspace world full of little mantis alien things back with you? How's Terrence I can't do the accent. I can't. I'm just not in the mood. What more often than not happens is an individual will load up their pipe with enough DMT to blast off, and they will either experience one of two things. Number one, they'll either take 2 hits and they will just be frozen in awe or frozen in terror at what is going on, because no amount of planning can prepare you for just how alien and bizarre and freaky DMT feels. You hear this ringing in your ears that just goes...
It's almost like all of reality just shatters in front of you like a plate of glass.
Or what will happen is they will be smoking it and trying to consume enough to blast off, but due to the harshness of the vapor or smoke, they won't get very far. It's not uncommon for people to have to smoke DMT, 10, 20, 30, sometimes even more times until they just get the hang of how to smoke it. Something else that happens is people believing that they had a breakthrough when they didn't really have a breakthrough. It's difficult to describe what the breakthrough is.
Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.
However, one of the common themes is when you come back, you feel as though you had been gone for much longer. For example, the first time I broke through, I believe I was only gone for 3 or 4 minutes, but to me it felt as though days, weeks, or maybe even months had elapsed. The first thing that I asked when I opened my eyes was, whoa, how long was I gone? And my friend just looked at me, he's like, I don't know, a couple minutes? And I was just like, what the effing shit? That was not a couple minutes. Now, I don't like putting definitive rules on what a breakthrough is, because I'm sure there's some people who have had what they considered a breakthrough and it didn't feel like they were gone for ages. What a lot of us like to say is if you have to ask if you're not sure if you broke through, then you definitely didn't break through. When it happens, you know it. The breakthrough is the experience which usually causes people to gain new insight and sometimes, well, people like to say often, but I would say sometimes, never see the world the same again. A breakthrough is something that...
Do you want to know what it is?
The breakthrough experience is something that shatters your notion of what is and isn't possible. And as such, it does take effort and courage to have this experience. I know a lot of you guys want me to stand here and try to explain what a breakthrough feels like, but I hate to disappoint you, but beyond saying it feels as though you are absolutely convinced you've been pulled out of your body and taken to some other place that's indescribable, there's not much else that I can say that you'll be able to relate to. As if you can really relate to that. Some people like to say that it feels like dreaming, but it really doesn't feel like dreaming at all. If dreaming felt like you were strapping yourself to the back of a rocket ship and then just blasting off at full speed to the point where you couldn't even catch your breath because you were just moving so fast that you were totally overwhelmed with everything that was going on, well then yeah, I guess then DMT would feel like dreaming. Can you imagine going to sleep and every time you're about to pass out, just feeling an overwhelming intensity that you're being taken out of your body by aliens or being abducted? There is one common theme that I've personally experienced on every breakthrough. I can't speak for anyone else, but as for me, I would always feel as though I had just gotten the answers to life. One of my friends smoked DMT for the first time, and he described it as feeling as though he had reached the next level. He said he looked at me and he knew that I was God. And then he realized, but wait, it's not even special that Adam's God, because holy crap, I'm God too. And I guess he realized that we are all God. He was convinced that now that he knew this, he was going to stay at this new level and never have to return back to lowly human life. Much to his dismay, when the drugs wore off, he did come back and he was pretty disappointed that he had to return to feeling like just another schmuck. I can kind of relate to this experience in the sense that when I have broken through, I have felt as though I had been injected with the answers to everything. I mean, every question that I've ever asked, even the big ones like, why are we here? What is our purpose? Is there a God? What does God look like? Anything you can imagine, I have felt as though I had the answers. It's like the DMT has told me the secrets to reality. Unfortunately, as soon as I try explaining anything in terms that anyone would understand, including myself, it's like nothing but gobbledygook comes out. Just a bunch of... It's like that goddamn red beepy thing in Men in Black. It's like someone tells you the answer to every question you've ever wanted to have, and then they beep you. And they'll tell you these answers as many times as you want, but the condition is every time you are going to get beeped. It also feels as though you can't know these answers. It feels as though if you were to take them back with you, all of reality would crack and shatter in the same way as when you're blasting off to DMT land. We like to think that as humans, we are allowed to know everything, but I like to believe that there are limits. An easy way to describe this would be, imagine a 1 gigabyte SD card, okay? Now imagine you have a file that needs 56 gigabytes to be saved or to be read on. No matter how hard you try, you are never going to fit that 56 gigabyte file into that 1 gigabyte SD card. It's just never gonna happen. And that's the best way I can describe getting these answers. It's as if when you get sucked out of your body and you merge with whatever the hell all this shit is going on here, and then you transcend that even, and you go talk to your old alien buddies that you haven't seen for a couple bazillion years. It's like in that form, you've left this 1 gigabyte SD card, and you are now, manifesting or encapsulating hundreds or terabytes of size. But then you get sucked out of that experience and you get plopped back into this puny 1 gigabyte SD card, and you can't take anything with you. It's just like you get this inclining as you're slowly getting sucked out. You kind of knew that you had it, but all it translates into is just the feeling that you knew. You really got to go back to learn it again. And this is probably something that can get dangerous for some people. They feel like they got to keep going back there to keep remembering these answers. But one of the answers that I've learned personally is the point is not to know. Of course, that sounds so convenient. Of course, the point is not to know. That just will settle everything. Now you'll have no urge to go and learn because you can't learn. So what's the point in trying if you can't even do it? But you know what I mean. I strongly do believe that these are things that we aren't supposed to know. And I can't get any more airy-fairy or wishy-washy than that, now can I? DMT aside, what a lot of you guys want to know is whether or not it is possible to have an LSD breakthrough. Now, I've never personally had an LSD trip that took me to that breakthrough place, such as on DMT. I have, however, had LSD experiences that did take me to all the other dimensions. Unfortunately, the ones that I can remember were quite dark, but it's kind of in a different way. You don't always go unconscious, which isn't necessarily a good thing. When I did break through to a different dimension on LSD, I was still physically in control of my body. That means I was still moving around and even talking to people, doing other dangerous shit when in my world, in my reality, I couldn't even see people. This is the same as being in a fully delirious state. There are drugs called deliriants, which kind of make you feel as though you're in a walking dream. That's what the LSD breakthrough felt like to me. It was terrifying thinking back. I mean, I never want to be in that state again. And I'm sure there are LSD breakthroughs where the person does let go. This is the key here. During the breakthroughs with LSD, I'm just calling them a breakthrough for lack of a better term, when you hold on is when you can enter this delirious state where your body's going without the mind. Now, when you let go, which really just means breathing through the experience, not giving into terror, and you just close your eyes and just melt away, that is when the experience is gentle. That's the less scary experience. Things like LSD only become freaky. The same goes for mushrooms when you're trying to hold on to your ego and your sense of self, and when you give in to fear and panic. I guess what I'm trying to say is both drugs can bring you very deep. Of course, with LSD, it's going to be less in your face and less intense. DMT comes on so strong and fast, it can be overwhelming. You can feel like you can't even catch your breath. Versus LSD, even on high doses, is going to be a more gradual climb. But this doesn't mean that it can't take you to some deep and freaky or profoundly beautiful places. I guess all that I'm trying to say is both drugs can take you deep. That's it. Let's just end there. They go deep. All right, guys, we've done it. There is just one more part remaining, which is, what is it like to combine DMT with LSD, and is it safe? Would you just, oh my goodness, go look at that. Look at that timestamp. Oh my God, this has run on for so long. I don't even know. I can't. Yeah, I can't answer this question because that's a really big question, and we don't have enough time left to answer it, meaning all that stuff about rebuilding the trust was a lie. We're not rebuilding trust. We are going to have to make that the highlight and pretty much the only thing present in part 3, which I'm probably going to record as soon as I hit pause on this, meaning it will be coming out soon. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure you leave it a big thumbs up, hit that like button, and in case you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. If you do support my content, check out our Patreon. You can go there and you can literally buy me a coffee. I'm not even kidding. You can actually go to Patreon and buy me a coffee. So if you appreciate my work, just go buy me a coffee. Keep me stimulated so I continue to stay up all night doing videos, because doing this is way more important than my health. There's also a video called LSA, Morning Glory Seeds, that I promised a long time ago, which is still coming. It's just, you know, my promise is just... Guys, I'm working on it, okay? I'm sorry. I'm just one man here. It's really overwhelming. I'm also working on the festival guide. There's just way too much for one guy. But anyway, I can keep pulling excuses out of my asshole, and they continue to get more and more covered in slimier shit. But for now, I will leave it at this. Take care, guys. See you all soon. This video was a ton of fun to do, and I'm gonna get right into recording the next one, which means as I'm recording it, I will already be loopy. So this is a video that starts off loopy. See you guys later.